Hello and a very good morning to you all. Thank you very much for tuning into Streaming School once again. We've got a packed day for you today. We've actually got 4 lessons coming in. We've got motivation this morning with the wonderful Action Jackson, and then we have some really, really interesting English lessons with Michael Gard. We then have the first of our 2 maths lessons, which is going to be with Sam Winch, and then we're going to have science, an introduction to science with further science with Michael Scott, and then we've got a wonderful session from Sheila Bala, who teaches in Madrid, and so she's volunteered her time to help us all the way from sunny Spain, and she will be coming on at 5 to 12, and I'll edit this for the future. My fault on that one, Nish. But yeah, thank you so much. We've had 2,000 people kind of watch lessons mainly on Facebook, and then some on Twitch and the YouTube as well. Really, really grateful that you guys are tapping in and sharing with people. Thank you so much. All the people, all the teachers who are volunteering here are just doing it to help as much as they can while our normal routines of school and teaching are interrupted. And we get to start probably everyone's favorite part of the day, right, Nish?
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't say that to the teachers, though. Hopefully they're not watching earlier this morning. But it's a pleasure as ever to have our dear, dear friend, Mr. Action Jackson, get us ready to start the day with positivity and positive thoughts. How are you, Mr. Jackson?
I am doing very well. I've got my happy glasses on this morning, so I'm feeling good about myself.
All right,
excellent stuff.
It is all over to you, my friend.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. This is Action Jackson, the UK Ambassador for Happiness. I am the resident motivator here on Streaming School, and I'm ever so grateful for this opportunity to be able to come in, streaming into your living rooms, streaming into your kitchen, wherever you're watching this today. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be able to bring motivation to you. For those of you who don't know me, I've been a motivational speaker now for the last 20 years. And my job is just to increase your dose of happiness. Because I truly believe that when you are happy, you produce more. That's my philosophy. Happiness is the fuel for success. Happiness is the fuel for success. And on this Streaming School, my job, the first part of the day, is to get that energy up. Now, I always kick off the day with music. Music is so important. So all I want you to do, if you're sitting down, just wave to the left and to the right. See, movements shifts your emotion. Your physiology affects your psychology. Even if you don't want to move, the fact that I'm moving is making you move. Even if you don't want to smile, the fact that I'm smiling is making you smile. Yeah? We're moving. Yeah? And the words are, I am amazing. What?
I'm amazing.
I am amazing. I can hear you, you know.
I'm amazing.
I am amazing. What?
Amazing.
Excellent stuff. Now, the reason why movement is so important is this. It's almost like warming yourself up so that your brains are alert to what you're going to learn, you know. And very quickly, I'm going to share my screen because I just want to just take us back a little bit. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome to Streaming School. For those of you who are coming back, welcome back. I'm just going to share my screen here. And the slide I'm going to show you right now, I'm just going to take it right back. Here we go. And I hope you're taking notes. We're trying to keep this very simple and straight to the point. So my name is Action Jackson, UK Ambassador for Happiness, and I'm a big believer in success. This is the philosophy. This is the foundation to everything we do. Your thoughts affect your emotions affect your actions, and your actions affect your results. So by moving and thinking positively, it affects your emotions, your actions, then your results. Bear that in mind. Your thoughts are everything. People say, why do I need to do this every day? Motivation is like having a bath. You need to do it every day for it to work. Okay, so you can't just do it once in a while. All right, we know what's going to happen. So consistently having positive thoughts is the key to success in everything. Yesterday, we talked about the fact that you're going to try. You're going to fail sometimes. You need to learn from your mistakes and then you repeat. This is the cycle of life. Very, very critical. And I go back over again in terms of life and trying. Sometimes you try, you're going to try again, try once more, try a little differently. Try again tomorrow. Never giving up on your goals. Your goal could be to understand a subject more. Just because it's tough for the first time doesn't mean you should give up on it. Try and ask for help. Try to find someone who's done it. Try to determine what's not working. Try to determine what is working and try to keep on trying. Now, today, what I want to do is put some energy into what I spoke about yesterday. Number one, you need to know your why you do what you do. Most students aren't motivated because they don't have a strong reason. I need you to have your strong reason. Number two, you need to assemble a team of people that's going to really help you to move forward in what you're doing. Show me your friends and I'll tell you your grades. And number three, you've got to work like a beast. But today, what we're going to do today is this. There's a phrase that I use quite frequently. My mind is focused. My heart is ready. I've got this. Words have a powerful way of triggering us. Words have a powerful way of shifting how we think. The way you talk to yourself will determine how good you feel about yourself. I repeat, the way you talk to yourself will determine how you feel about yourself. So I've got this lovely music on in the background. It's a soft piece of music. And all you've got to do is type in binary sounds, and it's got this yellow face. These sounds are in a particular frequency that actually triggers endorphins and dopamine in our system. Sound has a way of controlling how you feel. The sound of what you say and the sound of what you hear. So be careful what you say to yourself. All right? So as you're watching this, I want you to sit up straight, take a deep breath in, breathe out. That's it. Breathe in, breathe out, because we're getting set for an amazing day. And here's the phrase. My mind is focused. My heart is ready. I've got this. My mind is focused. My heart is ready. I've got this. So I want you to repeat after me. My mind is focused. My heart is ready. I've got this. The more you repeat these words to yourself, when you say your mind is focused, I want you to think about how powerful your brain is. From age 1 to the age you are right now, you never had to do anything extra to learn. You just had to be. As the information came into your mind, you absorbed it. Language, you got it automatically. Your brain has the capacity to learn 5 to 10 languages or more. That's the power of the brain. Your heart is beating every second of the day without you having to tell it what to do. You've definitely got this. So everybody say, my mind is focused. My heart is ready. I've got this. If you repeat this phrase to yourself consistently on a day-to-day basis, trust me, it puts you in a good space. It makes you feel good. Even when you don't feel like you understand something, step back. My mind is focused. My heart is ready. I've got this. That's what I have for you for today. I want you to go into your day feeling fired up, feeling motivated, feeling driven. Because whatever you do, remember that you are amazing. And here's the move. I am amazing. I am amazing. With that said, I'm going to hand you over to the amazing man with the great bow tie. Please put your hands together for Mr. Michael God. Over to you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Action. Thank you. Really, really appreciate it. A great start and focus to the morning. We'll be sending people to your Instagram page throughout the day as well. Remember to follow what Action Jackson's doing. I signed up this morning and followed him as well. It's really, really nice to see some of the motivational work he does with kids, how he gets them moving, how he gets them believing in himself. So I know there's a lot of teachers watching at the moment as well. And I really, really recommend you take a look at what Action Jackson is doing over on his channel. And with that, I wish you a great day and a great Easter weekend, sir.
Thank you very much. Take care.
All the best. Thank you. Very good morning to you, Mr. Guard. How are you, buddy?
Morning. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm another good start from Jackson there, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah, when he says say something, I end up saying it. I'm like, oh wait, no, that's not supposed to be me. I just
I do, and I get very aware that I might end up ruining what he's doing, so I kind of try to avoid it or put myself on mute, to be honest.
We don't do it as convincingly, buddy. We don't do it as convincingly. Thank you very much for coming to join us again. Thank you very much for giving up your time to help people. If anyone's interested as well in following on some of the great work that Michael's doing with you, Michael's got a YouTube channel as well, which you can go and track and follow in on. Really great range of tutorials in his channel up on YouTube. Obviously, he'll introduce it as well. I think it's called The English Teacher. Stay calm and love English, something along those lines. But today, what have you got in store for us today, Michael?
So I thought it was very apt to look at how to write a decent speech, essentially.
Fantastic. Everyone's freedom of speech, or trying to actually get a chance to actually say something to get themselves out of quarantine or lockdown. It's all over with you, buddy. Thank you so much. Nisha and I are here if you need to use us, and hopefully we won't be involved as much as last time.
Yeah, and I have to say, yes, if anyone watching wasn't also watching on Wednesday, two very able students in Leon and Nisha anyway, so that they were good. But I'm hoping for more and better in the future. No offense to you guys, obviously. So I thought that today it would be, especially we're on Good Friday, and it's talking about important and powerful moments and writing as well. One of the key things that is being rather prevalent at the moment has been obviously the ability to write speeches and to deliver speeches. But actually, just as importantly, whilst this is something that for many of us, it's going to be a skill which is a key skill for your adult life, I never really realised how important it would be for me to learn how to deliver an orate as much as I have done. Of course, I'm a teacher, so obviously there's an element of that which is part of our everyday. But more importantly for us as well, we need to think about how we can use persuasion and persuasive language in order to try and deliver a key message that we're trying to get across. So obviously at the moment in the UK, if you're watching from the UK or internationally, the key message about keeping the NHS safe, there's a clear example of persuasive language being employed. So if Nish, do you mind putting onto my PowerPoint, please?
Sure. Cool.
Thank you. So today what we're going to focus on is not just persuasive language, but actually it's going to be the way in which we can write a powerful introduction, because time and time again, when teachers are looking at the speeches that students give or where students write, quite often the introduction doesn't set you off on the right foot. So we're going to be looking at that. And as I said already, we're going to be looking at learning persuasive terminology. Now, I want to start off with an example here, which I'll now show you. And this young lad, and hopefully none of us ever have experienced this before, has just been caught shoplifting. So what he's now trying to do is to persuade the shopkeeper to not tell his dad. We're going to watch this twice. Whilst we're watching it the first time, I want you to think about different ways this young boy is trying to persuade the shopkeeper to not tell his father. Then what we're going to do is go through this a little bit together to work out whether this young individual is using an array of persuasive terminology. So let's watch, and if you've got a pen and paper in front of you, it's great. Try and take some notes as you are listening as well.
No, you did it more than once. Admit it. If you admit it, listen.
I don't think this time. I'm so sorry. You don't tell my dad I won't do it anymore.
You promise me you won't do it anymore?
I crossed my heart. I can take it to work me part.
All right, say I'm sorry
I'm sorry.
for stealing.
Huh?
For stealing. And you'll never do it again. All right, but I'm still telling your dad.
No, anyway. Please.
I'm calling the cops too.
No.
You want to go to jail?
No, I don't. I don't want to. I'm sorry.
Are you gonna ever steal?
I'll never steal my knife again.
Should I call the cops? So say sorry for stealing.
Sorry for.
Okay, so let's watch that back one more time. Hopefully you can see the video. If not, hopefully you can hear the audio.
It's all coming through fine on the stream, Mike.
Yeah.
What? Sorry, Liam?
It's all coming through fine on the stream, buddy.
Okay, thank you. So let's watch this through one more time. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause it in certain places, because at first glance it may appear or sound as if there isn't much in the way of persuasion being used here. But let's see if that is or isn't the case then. So straight away, we've got the tone, haven't we? So he is trying to create what's called pathos, sympathy, sadness. He's obviously trying to show here a sense of anyone, is it?
No, you did it more than once. Admit it. If you admit it, listen.
So he, in that regard, he said, I only did it 3 times, only 3 times. So he's admitting to shoplifting 3 times, but he's used only. So what he's trying to do here is play it down, understatement. So that's called, if you're American, litotes or litotes is understatement here. So again, we've literally watched 3 seconds and I can count 2 to 3 persuasive techniques being employed again. So let's move forward with that a little bit more as well, right? So, I mean, in fact, let me finish that off quickly.
No, you did it more than once. Admit it. If you admit it, listen.
I'm so sorry, yo. Please don't tell my dad I won't do it anymore.
You promise me you won't do it anymore?
I crossed my heart.
So cross his heart. We'll finish off with that one there. Cross his heart. You can see that. And as we go through the video, we've got, as we said already, understatement. I only did it 3 times. He then says, across my heart. So he's using imagery. He's using figurative language to create an impression. He's suggesting that he will never do this again. He then also uses exaggeration, hyperbole. So obviously, whilst I don't condone this, the child then says, if you tell my dad, he'll whoop me hard, suggesting, but hopefully, I'm hoping it's exaggeration, hyperbole, obviously, but he's using that to try and create further sympathy. Is also, if we're thinking about this now, if you tell my dad, he will do this, suggesting actually that if the shopkeeper does something, it will create a negative impression. We've also spoken already about the tone of voice. So again, we've said that the sadness and the regret in his voice is to persuade the shopkeeper. Notice also the politeness that's being employed. If you're being polite, it's trying to win the affection of the listener. Once again, if the child in that video starts saying, so, I don't care, you're ugly, what are you going to do about it? Well, he's obviously then going to tell his father, isn't he? And then finally, in terms of our list of persuasive techniques that this 7-year-old boy is using in the space of 50 seconds, he has repetition. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Please don't tell my dad. Please don't tell my dad. No, when he threatens to tell the police. There's lots of repetition being used there. Why do we use repetition? Well, because it helps to emphasize a key message, to reinforce a message. And in this case, I'm sorry, please don't tell my dad. So actually, and a lot of parents out there who are listening know this very, very well, children are amazing when it comes to persuasive language. And there is some terminology that he's employing. And in fact, one could argue that this young lad is just as good as one of the most famous writers in the English-speaking language. Here is a speech from Shakespeare's Henry V. Now, this is King Henry V, and he's trying to persuade his soldiers once more to go into potentially one last battle for him. They're tired, they've been marching. This is his attempt to persuade them to fight for him and for England one more time. Again, whilst you're listening, let's see if we can pick out some of the persuasive devices that are being employed.
Once more! Onto the breach, dear friends, once more! We'll close the wall up with our English dead! In peace, there is nothing so becomes a man as modest stillness and humility. But when the blast of war blows in our ears, then imitate the action of the tiger. Stiffen the sinews, summon up the blood, disguise fair nature with hard-favored rage, then blend the eye and terrible aspect. Let it pry through the portage of the head like the brass cannon. Now set the teeth and stretch the nostril wide, hold hard the breath, and in these parts from morn till even fought, and sheathe their swords for lack of argument. Dishonor not your mothers. Now attest that those of you called fathers did forget to. Be copy now to men of grosser blood, and teach them how to breed in England. Show us here the mettle of your pasture. Let us swear that you are worth your breeding, which I doubt not. For there is none of you so mean and base that have got noble luster in your eyes. I see you stand like greyhounds in the slips, straining upon the start. The game is afoot. Follow your spirit, and upon this charge, cry, God for Harry!
Now, I absolutely love that speech. Love that speech for so many reasons. But let's look then at the speech itself very, very briefly. So we can see here, I've underlined some of the key parts, and I have edited slightly. So any of our purists out there, I have condensed it down for today's session. So let's begin. Once more to friends, dear friends, once more. So again, notice what we've got here is that idea of politeness, haven't we? So just like the boy, we have this idea of referring to these individuals as friends. Why do that? Because if someone feels valued, then it suggests they're more likely to do something for you rather than, I'm the king, do as you're told. Also here, it's a king referring to his soldiers as friends. That adds to the value of that, doesn't it, that comment? In the next line, if they don't fight, well, they can close the wall up with their English dead. And again, English dead, well, we have the use of imagery once more. And in fact, this one is a metaphor. So the young lad has used two techniques already that Shakespeare's employed in Henry V here. And we'll scroll further down and we can see that he wants his soldiers to imitate the action of the tiger. So once more, we had cross my heart with the young lad. We have imitate the action of the tiger here, a military, all the things you'd expect of a fighting soldier as well. When we look further down, he then asks them to behave in certain ways, be strong, be brave. And here, noblest English, noble. So to be noble, obviously, is a positive adjective and attribute here. But the EST, anything that ends in EST, well, we know that obviously suggests the greatest, strongest, it's a superlative. And he's suggesting that no one is nobler than these English people that are listening. So again, he's praising them. He's being positive to win their affection. But then the opposite is happening here. Dishonor not your mothers. It's suggesting, this persuasive technique here is interesting because it suggests if you do not fight for me, then you will bring dishonor upon yourselves. So it's the use of an opposite there. He's praising them in one hand, but now actually he's using a different tactic, or Shakespeare is in this speech rather. He's using a different tactic to suggest if you do not fight, you will only bring dishonor. We then see the personal pronoun, you. So he's directly addressing individuals, and that adds power to the message. It makes the message feel as if it's more directly associated to you. And then more imagery is being employed, like greyhounds in the slip. Greyhound suggests pace, strength, power, which is obviously great. And then right at the end, cry, God for Harry, England and St. George. And we have an exclamation mark, which again supports that tone of voice. So remember, when we were watching the video of the boy, the tone of voice there was to create a sense of pathos and sadness, where here, what we have is an exclamatory sentence. It's basically a sentence with an exclamation mark on the end. Something you can use in your A-level terminology, always makes you look and sound grade 9 if you're speaking about exams as well. But we've also got triadic structure, or rule of 3 here. So we've got do this for Harry, which is obviously King Henry. So he's using a more informal way to describe himself, suggesting a more informal and personal relationship. You're going to be doing this for England, so the country itself, but just as important, St. George. So effectively, you're doing it for God as well. So notice he's gone from big to small here. One person, country, and then obviously the whole of heaven. Suggesting also that heaven is on the English side, which is obviously really interesting. And again, I'll come back to that point that we can see that Shakespeare and that 7-year-old boy are using very similar persuasive techniques to gain the affection and viewpoint sharing of their audience as well. But let's go back now, because our second aim in this session, as we were talking about, is now using this for great introductions. So what should a great introduction include when we're writing speeches? Well, first and foremost, it should be engaging. It's supposed to gain the interest of the listener. The average watch time on a YouTube video is something like 45 seconds to a minute or whatnot. So imagine if you are dull at the start, you're going to lose the interest of your listener. If you're trying to sell them something, if you're trying to avoid the police being called, if you're trying to ensure an army are fighting for you against the French, well, you need to be engaging. You also need to make sure that your viewpoint is clear, because if your message is unclear, how will they know what you're trying to suggest them? And then finally, as we've seen, we want to include a variety of persuasive techniques as well. Let's now look at a topic and ways in which we can and can't do this. So write a speech for an assembly which argues either for or against wearing a uniform. Well, here are a couple of bad examples. Hello, my name is Michael, and I'm speaking today to explain why I believe uniform is a good thing. Now, this does explore the purpose of the speech, why they're writing. It does introduce themselves. It's not very engaging. Here, why should we bother? What's the point? Well, I'd like to explain why wearing the prison attire we call a school uniform should be banned. That's better. We've got rhetorical questions to engage the listener. We have a viewpoint being expressed. That's on the right track. But actually, if we're looking to be different, if we're looking to create an answer which is going to help us achieve the kind of perfect mark responses that we're looking for, well, this might help you. And I always think one point I would put forward here is beginning with an anecdote. A story always helps your case. So we all remember that first morning. The alarm goes off. We have no need for it, as you've already been excitedly awake for hours. Springing out of bed, you glare at the precious things that lay before you. So we have a collective pronoun being used, so immediately we're engaging the audience. We are not yet sure what this thing that lays before them is. So we're interested. What are you talking about? As you digest what you've been made on this special day by a gleaming parent, you begin to consider how the day will unfold. Still unsure, we know this thing is a special occasion, and we know it brings pride. After finishing off the last of the cereal you chose for this momentous occasion. So again, remember when we first started our session this week, we looked at great vocabulary? There's an example. You run upstairs, begin to place the new garments on, the crisp new trousers and skirt, the delightful new shirt or blouse, but above all else, you've been looking forward to placing the new time blazer upon yourself. You finally belong. So again, it's time to become a little bit clearer. Now we make sure our message is clear to our audience. The first day of school is a special occasion. A big fuss is made of the way we look when we first descend the stairs to be hugged and kissed and photographed by proud and delighted parental figures. That day is made all the more special by our uniforms. And even though making our loved ones proud of us should be enough, uniforms should be worn for a plethora of reasons. So notice, we draw them in with the anecdote. We've used, in terms of writing skills, a vast array of great techniques. And then right at the end of our introduction, bang, we hit them. This is what this speech is about. This is my viewpoint. I'm now going to give you 3 or 4 reasons why this is exactly the viewpoint you should also have. Nish, do you mind putting it back on my face, please?
Sure.
All right. So we said today we're going to look at a couple of things. We said we're going to look at understanding and knowing persuasive terminology. And we've done that using a modern day example with a 6-year-old. And then we've gone back about 500 years and we've looked at how Shakespeare's employed it in his work. We've then thought about how we can incorporate that in our own writing. And in particular today, we've looked at the introduction and how we can create an introduction to speech writing, which is going to be impactful, but also, just importantly, help you achieve, if we're thinking about exams and assessments, really, really high marks. So I hope that's been useful. If you want to, as always, there are some tasks which you can complete. And obviously, feel free to look at that and the resources and have a go yourself, because it's practice that helps make us better. And thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure working with you this morning.
Thank you so much, Michael. That is so much appreciated. I really, really enjoyed that. I can definitely see the links that you were making. And yeah, it's fantastic. And if the rest of you want to watch more of Michael, a load of his videos are up online on YouTube for free, and The English Teacher. So please check him out. Michael, thanks a lot, buddy. I'm sure I'll speak to you a little later on in the day.
Pleasure. Good luck, guys. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thanks, Mike. And that was actually really convincing. So you watch. First time I watched the video, I was just kind of like, "What's going on here?" And I think that's one of the things that teachers try and do all the time, Nish, in lessons. And you just kind of like try and make that hook.
Yeah.
Were you convinced?
I actually liked it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. And that's the difference. Is there's going to be a big, because I know I always say something at the end towards teachers as well, but that's one of the things towards the idea of how you actually. That would have worked in a class. That worked in the class, and it worked online because it was video based. And just the technique Mike's using to use the Google Doc there to comment, and that's how he's doing his annotation. Whereas we normally write on a whiteboard. Again, it's just different ways and styles of doing the same thing.
Yeah, and it works exactly the same.
Yeah, and we had people start volunteering more yesterday. So yeah, it's good on us.
Which is exciting.
Yeah, brilliant. Right, it's all with you, my dear.
Right, cool. Here is the optional English task. So again, students and parents can get involved. It is writing a speech for a school assembly which argues for or against traditional school.
Cool. And then we're going to move on to what comes next, my dear. Have we got the maths? One of the maths lessons with Mr. Sam.
Yep, we have first maths lesson.
Perfect. So we'll move on to maths. Double maths today. I'm sure that's. I wonder how people will react to that in stream school. Probably better than they would react to it day to day. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think so. I think they can watch it in their own time, which is great. They don't have to do both right now.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Thank you so much again, Nish. And I will see you in. You're kindly putting up the links on everywhere, and then I will see you again in about 15 or so minutes.
Yeah. Cool. See you in a bit.
Good luck with the